first was the real nickel plate Wave 765, a 284 Berkshire-type steam locomotive built in 1944 by the Lima Locomotive Works of Lima, Ohio, and its O-gauge model built by Lionel Electric Trains. This engine was cataloged in the 2014 Lionel Signature Catalog and sold out within 3 days of its release. Its price tag? A mere $1,449.99. It features the Lionel Legacy Control System, rail sounds, crew talk, electronic couplers, and the brand new whistle steam smoke effect, along with a host of other features.
Tower, the water's just about empty. Am I clear to make a move? Over.
Roger, your track is cleared. Dispatcher over.
Copy that. Cleared to move. Here we go. Out.
My name is Adam Matthews, and this is my model railroad empire. It is roughly 8 feet wide by 15 feet long, and it is safe to say that my collection of trains has outgrown my available track space. All of the trains are O-gauge, which means that they are 1/48th the size of the actual train. Most of my engines are from MTH Electric Trains, Lionel's biggest competitor. They are all equipped with either proto-sound 2.0 or 3.0, and all have the digital command system, also called DCS, built into them. They have smoke, they have lights, and they have realistic sounds unique to each individual locomotive, including station announcements.
Now arriving from Chicago, on track 1, train number 26, the 20th Century Limited.
You may be wondering where I got all these trains from, and for that we must go to Stockyard Express and meet Clyde Lewis.
This is the Stockyard Express first train store that my wife and I started back in the early 80s. It was an old garage on the farm, and we converted it and put a small little layout in here, shelves, insulated it, put a little heat in it, and this is where we started selling trains and selling the MTH, and at that time MTH, Weaver, and K-Line. Early days when we started selling trains in here, the trains would come pretty regularly, but this place was packed full of trains on the wall and under the counters, and the new trains that would come out or get in here on Monday or Tuesday, the fellows would come or call, and by Friday or Saturday they were gone. You were waiting for another shipment of trains for next week. They would buy them when MTH started in business. They'd buy them as fast as he made them.
Today, Stockyard Express has expanded into what is now possibly, if not the largest train store in Ohio, and one of the best places to buy O-gauge models by MTH Electric Trains. It is one of the best and most complete inventories of locomotives, rolling stock, track, buildings, and accessories in the country. It is also one of the best MTH service centers around. So, who shops at Stockyard Express? Well, let me introduce you to one of our more well-known customers, Jason Stuckart.
My name's Jason Stuckert. Just turned 24 years old today, actually. I started this layout when I was a senior in high school. I had built 4 other layouts before this, all getting a little bit bigger and a little bit higher up as I grew. This one I was inspired mainly by some of the new technology that became more available. got inspired by a lot of DVDs like Black Diamond Railway. It kind of inspired me to just tear everything down and start over and really take my first attempt at a more professional looking layout with nicer scenery and high-end rolling stock. And so this was something that started right as I was graduating high school, and then it was a fun project for me to work on along with my dad. My dad helped me a little bit with this as well. Just a fun thing to do when I would come home from school and over Christmases and summers and breaks. I was pretty much just down here in the basement for the most part, having fun and working on the layout. And it is what you see in front of you now, which is pretty much just about complete, except for maybe a few things here and there to add around. I guess in the train community, I'm a bit of a YouTube celebrity. Not as big as others, but as I was getting back into this hobby, one of the things that really helped me along the way and kind of kept the inspiration going was YouTube. And there were a lot of guys who were starting layouts or were beginning to post their progress on the internet. And I started doing the same thing. It made building a lot more fun because there were a lot more people I could share the progress with. There were a lot more people who could appreciate and critique and give me pointers on things I was working on. And so I just started posting just really crummy videos with a tiny little camera of just some of the trains running around. And I kind of just took after some of the other guys on YouTube and how they would do their videos and post their progress. So it just kind of slowly evolved. I just would every couple times a month maybe, or whenever I could, I would do an update, maybe do an occasional product review, and it was also a way for me to document my own progress. Because even today, it's still fun to go back and look at when there was nothing but bare wood and there were no levels or anything. So that was there were a lot of reasons behind getting involved with YouTube, and the number of people who watched them it steadily grew over the years. I didn't go out and really promote anything. I just plugged into the online forums and even Facebook, just talking with guys. More people started following my videos and commenting, and I've met a lot of people. I haven't checked in a while, but I know I have probably a couple thousand subscribers. One of my videos I think has over 50,000 views. It's a lot of fun. I still can go to train stores and train shows, and someone will just randomly come up to me and introduce themselves because they've seen my videos and they know me from there. So it's always kind of fun. It is 21 by 8 feet long. All the track that you see here is Atlas O track. There's a little bit of MTH reel tracks on the underside of the layout. We run the MTH DCS system. Everything on the layout is command controlled with the DCS system, with the exception of a small loop that I have on the top level. Lets me run some of my older conventional trains as well. One Z4000 to power all of the trains, and a TIU, which is hooked into the DCS system, as well as two AIUs, accessory interface units, which power all of the switches and accessories on the layout with the handheld remote. That was really one of the biggest reasons why I started over, was the command control features. I think I'm up to over 20 newer engines that I'll use the command control. I still have a few of my older traditionally controlled locomotives. The original set is on my top shelf over here next to me. That was the one that kind of started it all. Literally, probably within the first year I was born, I was sitting with my dad in the corner of this basement with a little, probably not even a 4x8 layout, with the old train just going in a circle. So that was kind of where it all started, and the bug never really left me.
Jason's layout is a masterpiece of high-rail model railroading in a relatively small space. Many take as much as 10 years or more to build a layout that looks this good. Jason did it in 5. In contrast to Jason's layout, we have Mike Scholl, who has one of the biggest layouts you will ever see.
this layout is 8 by, I believe it's 32. It started out being 8 by 12, and it just kept growing and growing. I wanted something big enough that I could run a whole consist like you see on the road.
Mike's layout is very impressive. Not many O-Gauge fans have the space to model prototypical train lengths of 40 cars or more, but Mike certainly can.
I don't know what all I have in it. I have, I have GP60s. I've got the steamers, and my favorite. I'm starting to trend to. It's starting to fall towards early diesels like the ABAs and steamers. I'm getting away from the modern like tunnel motors and the GP 60s and all that stuff. I'm just really into the steamers. I like the steamers and the early diesels because they just have so much more character to them, I think. Probably because I remember seeing them when I was a kid, but you don't see them anymore. And then you can walk down to the train tracks and see all the new modern stuff. So I'm really starting to gravitate towards the older units. I wanted to switch trains off, and I always had such a hard time because you put them back in a box, you take them out of the box because you don't want to damage them. And so I thought to myself, there's got to be an easier way where I can switch off modern trains for old trains, for steamers, for diesels. And so I thought, well, how cool would it be if I could take this off and then put another one on? So what I did was I invented these shells. And so what happens is I can pull this out and I can move my train around, and then I can put another engine on and then move that engine around, and as the other engine comes, take it off and put it into here. And then that way everything's protected, but I'm not having to put it in boxes. Like if I wanted to run this train here, I would move that Rio around, and what I would do is put this on, start it up, hook the cars up to it, move it up the hill as I was bringing the Rio down, and take the Rio off and put it in here so that that was up on there. And then all I do is slide this back underneath so that it's out of the way. This was my first attempt of making I guess a design table, and I went through a bunch of different things before I figured out that I wanted to be a yard. So I put the yard down, and I couldn't decide what I wanted to do. Then I wanted to do weathering on something and never did it before, so this was my first attempt at weathering. And I started doing weathering on it, and then I tried some slate because I have a bunch of slate and wanted to put that down. So one thing just kind of led to the other, and it just ended up being a yard for containers. Because this was the first one our parents bought us. It was a Lionel. And I know you can see them every train show you go to, you see thousands of these, but this one was ours. It was our first one when we were kids, so it's got meaning to it.
Meaning and nostalgia is a big part of being a model railroader or a rail fan. Thousands of people flock to events every year. Trainfest 2014 was hosted by the Steam Railroading Institute of Owasso, Michigan, home of Perry Marquette 1225, which was the locomotive used as a basis for the engine scene in the Polar Express movie. Hundreds attended the night photo shoot, where the engine was spun on the turntable in the company of 7 other working steam locomotives just to get pictures. Even the once commonplace event of coal loading drew a crowd the next day. Many think that the real and/or the model railroad world is dead. They are mistaken. It is thriving like never before and will be around for many years to come. So next time you see a train, remember, somebody might have a model of it in their basement.